It Ends With Us has just been released in the cinema, and usually this isn't really the type of film that I go for, but I saw the trailer a couple of months back and it drew me in. I've seen Blake Lively in Age of Adeline, and with this being centered around a romance and also the fact that it's based on a best-selling novel, I thought it was worth checking out. With an ending that was inspiring, which followed on from a story that was filled with heartbreak, determination, and marking an end to a cycle of abuse. Let's jump into the video and discuss what the ending truly meant and answer if the film is worth watching. So let's get into it. Here is It Ends With Us Ending Explained and Review. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. The Ending Explained. The ending of this movie was one which really did embody the title of the story. Lily was an individual that witnessed her mother being abused by her father throughout the entirety of her life, and she swore to herself that she'd never be the person that her mother was, as she didn't want that to happen to her, staying with somebody that would do that to them. However, with her falling in love with Ryle, she found herself slowly seeing that he wasn't the person that she thought he was. Rather, he was somebody that mirrored the first thing that she ever saw when she laid eyes on him when he was kicking the chair: violence. From an outsider's perspective, I'd say it felt like he was almost love-bombing her with the obsessive and forceful nature that he had at the start, although it was something that she perceived to be flirtatious and fun at first. However, as time went on, things such as him hitting her, pushing her down the stairs and then forcing himself upon her when she didn't want him to, it showed that he wasn't the person that she originally fell in love with. He was an abuser, just like her father. And we saw exactly what she felt about her father when he died at the beginning. She chose not to see him when he died, and when she was at the funeral, she couldn't think of 5 reasons as to why she loved him. Not even one. She saw her mother suffering for years at the hands of her father, and when she found out that she was pregnant with a young girl, she didn't want the cycle to repeat itself, and for her daughter, Emmy, who was named after Ryle's brother, who we found out he killed by accident when he was younger, to go on and experience not only what she did, but what her mother did, and also Atlas's mother too. That's why when Emmy was born and Ryle was alongside her, she used that as the time to tell him that she wanted a divorce. Because now that he had a daughter, he was able to truly understand the severity of his actions and how he made Lily feel. With Lily saying, "It ends with us," it was such a powerful line because it marked the conscious act that she was making in walking away from somebody that she thought she loved. Her mother said she was never able to leave Lily's father because it was harder to walk away. But Lily knew what she needed to do because she wanted the best life for her daughter and for her to not see the things that she went through or for her to go through them herself. Once Lily had separated from Ryle, we saw that Lily was closer with her mother, and as the years went by, we saw Emmy growing up and enjoying life. When Lily eventually visited her father's grave, we saw that she got some closure, and she left the napkin in which she was going to write the 5 reasons as to why she loved her father. We saw the napkin still didn't have any reasons on, but I think her placing that down was her letting go of her father and the pain and suffering that he caused her, and also Atlas when he nearly killed him. He taught her everything that she didn't want in somebody that she loved, and at the end, when she was on her own, she knew that she was better off. Right at the end, we saw that Lily approached Atlas at a market, and it was the first time that they'd seen each other in years. Prior to that, we saw that he helped her on the night where Ryle forced himself upon her, and the last thing he said to her was, "If you're ever ready to fall in love again, let it be me." A line that was really sweet and showed the caring nature that he had. And this final encounter showed that they were finally ready to be with one another. They both didn't have a partner, and as they looked into each other's eyes and were about to kiss, the movie cut to black and it finished, showing that she was finally with the person that she truly loved. The person who made her feel happy and safe all of those years ago and helped her navigate through the turbulent time in her life when she was with her abusive partner, and also when she was witnessing the pain that her mother was in. With regards to the novel, there is actually a sequel book that was written called It Starts With Us, and it's centered around Lily and Atlas and the relationship that they go on to have. So I can only imagine that they're going to make another movie which follows on from that ending. My review of the movie. I thought this telling of the story was pretty good. It definitely had a 3-part structure to it, with us seeing Lily and Ryle being introduced to one another, Atlas entering the picture and the abuse beginning, and then her finding the strength and freedom towards the end, something which gave her a happy ending. During the scenes where there was happiness and love blossoming, such as when Lily met Ryle, and also when Atlas re-entered her life, I found myself just sitting there and smiling. They encapsulated love forming in such a strong way that it really translated across the screen. I thought the way that the passage of time was structured through Alyssa's pregnancy and then Lily being pregnant was a good way of showing that time was moving and progressing. It felt natural and allowed the movie to be free-flowing without the need of title cards. One critique that I would have on this film is that I do think it was just a little bit too long. It's around 2 hours and 10 minutes, but I think it could have easily been about 1 hour and 40 and just been that little bit more digestible. There were parts in the middle where things could have been cut, and it would have made it feel like it wasn't dragging as much. In terms of the performances, I thought all of the cast did a fantastic job. Justin Baldoni as Ryle delivered a great performance as we saw two completely different sides to him. One that loved his wife deeply, and the other that was troubled, obsessed, lost, and a horrible person. So he almost had two different parts to play, and both of them were just as convincing as the other. I'd also say that Blake Lively delivered a phenomenal performance as well, and was extremely emotionally evoking. The use of flashbacks and being able to see Lily and Atlas's previous time together when they were younger, and the origin of how they fell in love, and the importance of the oak tree and roots was something that I'm glad featured. Without it, we wouldn't have truly been able to understand why the both of them were like the way that they were, and why they had such a strong bond, both bonding over the trauma that their mothers were enduring at the hands of a man. When Atlas stuck up for Lily in the restaurant, that was a great moment, as it really showed the core values of the character and that he still cared deeply for her. One thing that I thought was underrated in this movie were the song choices that accompanied a lot of the scenes. The selection of songs were perfect and allowed us to be drawn into the scene, and it not only suited the moment well, but it caused the emotion that it wanted to evoke from us to be released, whether that be Taylor Swift or Birdie. In terms of the ending, I get why Lily had to encounter Atlas again, but I thought it would have been more poetic if it had have ended with her in hospital after asking Ryle for the divorce, and her telling her daughter that it ended with them. Plus, with Atlas saying to her that if she was ever ready to fall in love with somebody again, he wanted it to be her. It not only showed that he wasn't forceful with her like Ryle was in the start with wanting to be with her, but it would have left it up to interpretation and left us wondering if they ever went back to one another. But that's not the biggest issue in the world, it's just a small preference and an alternative thing that I would have quite liked. Overall, this movie's definitely worth a watch. It has you hooked and it tackles subject matters that you don't often see in rom-com drama movies. It has an emotional, powerful story at its core, and it's hard to watch at points, but I think in order for the powerful nature of the message and the inspiring takeaway to occur, it all has to be shown. Go and watch this movie, but if you're a guy, be prepared to be one of only a few in the theatre. That was something I realised when I sat down in my seat on my own. I think I was the only guy in there. So, there you have it. It ends with us ending explained and review. If you want to see more movies from 2024 broken down, then click on the card in the top corner. There's an entire playlist there. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. And finally, if you'd like to see what I gave this movie out of 5 stars, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What did you think of this movie? Did you enjoy it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for tuning into the video, and I'll see you in the next one.